At the age of about 13, I started stealing. At 15, I was put in detention centre. At 19, I was in prison again. Came out of there very angry and very bitter and thought what you want out of this world you have to take because no one gives you anything. Met some guys who seemed to have everything. You know, they walked into a club and everyone stopped. And I expect I wanted that power, I wanted to have everything. At 27, I had everything the world says makes you happy. More money than I could ever spend, sports cars and all the girls you ever needed. But obviously inside there was a great emptiness. I was working a club that we part-owned in the West End of London, ended up hitting this guy and truly thought I had killed him. And I expect the thing that triggered in me was that I didn't care. And I thought, how can I have such a life where all I'm doing is hurting people? And now I've got to the point where I don't even care. I came in this normal night and I became aware of a voice speaking to me in my heart, and I knew that voice to be God. I ended up meeting a priest who told me about a retreat that was happening. I ended up going on this retreat, and at that retreat I did something which I never thought I'd do. I went to confession for the first time in my life. And I knew in my heart that God had forgiven me, because that sin had killed me, but that confession had brought me back to life. And when I went to confession for the first time, I cried for 3 days. I could not stop crying because God's mercy touched my heart so deeply. And it was almost like being born again, you know. I went to confession and I didn't realise how the sin that I had committed was killing me inside. I don't think it's possible for us to go to confession and not be completely changed. And also I think the media is something that very much glamorises gangsterism and that whole scene. And so young people see that and they're almost glamorised by it, and then I can break that illusion that there's anything there except pain and misery and hurt. When I speak to young people, I think they see that I'm vulnerable and that I'm real, that I don't pretend that everything was glamorous or great when I was a gangster. And because I'm vulnerable and I'm willing to share that, I think they respond to that vulnerability. Every one of us can change people's lives. You are the light of Christ. Burn for Christ and burn brightly, and never be afraid. For the darkness can never overtake the light. You are the light of Christ. And the more you open your heart to Christ, the more brightly you will burn. Someone asked me once in a prison, what was the longest prison sentence you ever did? And I said 27 years without God. It's a death sentence. And I honestly believe when I lived without God, it was like I was dead, but now I'm alive.